Coming up on today's show, I want to talk about the possibility of the Falcons trading for the Dolphins star cornerback Jalen Ramsey because some news came out earlier today that Miami and Ramsey are exploring possible trades, and the Falcons, I think, have a better chance than some people realize of landing Ramsey. Now, before we look at all this good stuff right here, I have taken a lot of happiness out of listening to our Saints host, Trace Gerard, have an absolute bitch fit every single day about something new related to Derek Carr. So if you want to beat the Saints on the field this season and within the walls of Chat Sports, do me a big favor, scroll on down and click that sub button. But earlier today, we got a report from Ian Rappaport that the Dolphins and Pro Bowl cornerback Jalen Ramsey are mutually set to explore trade options. Quick sidebar here. What a disaster for Miami. They gave extensions to Tyreek Hill and Jalen Ramsey. Both those are going downhill right now. And they let Christian Wilkins and Robert Hunt walk in free agency. Two homegrown talents. Yeah, not really good decision-making going on in Miami right now. But the reason why I believe the Falcons have a better chance of landing Ramsey than other people are giving them credit for is because I think people are looking at Ramsey in the wrong light. Do the Falcons need a cornerback? Not really. They brought back Mike Hughes. They have A.J. Terrell. They brought back D. Alford. They're kind of good at that spot. But I'm going to challenge you not to look at Ramsey as a corner for his next team. What about Jalen Ramsey as a safety for his next team? Asante Samuel tossed out the idea of Ramsey switching positions, and I think this could be the start of, I don't want to go full High School Musical here, but the start of a new chapter for Ramsey's career as he continues to play at a pretty high level last year with Miami, but finding a different role with his next team. Ramsey and Raheem Morris overlapped in LA when the two won a Super Bowl, and both of them have spoken very highly of one another to the media. So I could see the reunion happening in Atlanta if Ramsey is on board with a different position with the Falcons. He's 30. He's going to turn 31 in the middle of the season. He could be hitting that Patrick Peterson point of his career. Remember how great he was in Arizona? And he still played for a while afterwards, but more as a safety with the Steelers and with the Vikings than as a traditional cornerback. So if that is something Ramsey is interested in and something the Falcons are interested in, that is how I could see a trade happening. I don't think Atlanta trades for Ramsey if they want to just play him at corner because it's going to be expensive, and they've already invested a lot at that position in terms of just pure money and salary cap devotion, right? You've got A.J. Terrell on a big contract. You brought back Mike Hughes on a 3-year contract. You re-signed D. Alford. You have made a lot of acquisitions and a lot of just pure spending at the corner position so far. But at the safety position, you got Jesse Bates on a, right now, pretty team-friendly looking 4-year contract. And then Jordan Fuller signed for next to nothing. Well, that was before they knew that Ramsey could be available. And I could see Raheem Morris chomping at the bit to bring his old corner to Atlanta because the two were so successful in LA. Ramsey had back-to-back All-Pro, Pro Bowl seasons, including a Super Bowl run in 2021. And for Raheem Morris, look at it through his lens for a moment. They have not made any big acquisition from the pass rusher standpoint. The most notable name is Leonard Floyd, who's over the age of 30 and is coming off at 8.5 sack season. So with the pass rush still not looking any improved from last year, and all of your eggs going in the draft basket, which I don't think is the smartest bet to make to turn around a pass rush quickly. If you can't get to the quarterback as quickly as you would like, at least make it difficult for him to find anyone open downfield. This is one way to compensate for not having a plethora of talented edge rushers. Make sure everyone's guarded. So you get A.J. Terrell, Jesse Bates, and Jalen Ramsey in this secondary. It may not feature a pass rush that's going to put up top 5, top 10 sack numbers, but it's going to feature a pass rush that knows they've got an extra split second to get to the quarterback because the quarterback has to hold on to the ball for an extra split second for someone to get open with all that Pro Bowl, all-pro talent in the secondary. This is my best rationalization for how Raheem Morris and Terry Fontenot could talk themselves into a trade. Because surface level, I don't think anyone woke up this morning thinking, oh, the Falcons make a ton of sense for Jalen Ramsey. But when you dig a little bit deeper, it's not too difficult to talk yourself into a reunion between Ramsey and Raheem Morris. And the best way to make do with what you got, which is not a whole lot up front, make life as difficult as possible for the quarterback to find a single receiver down the field. Now, I've got more to share on this, and we're going to look at some numbers and what a trade could look like in just a moment. But first, a quick shout out to our friends over at Game Time. Game Time makes getting tickets faster and easier, even for hard-to-get playoff seats. Prices on the Game Time app actually go down the closer it gets to tip-off. With killer last-minute deals, all-in prices, views from your seat, and their lowest price guarantee, Game Time takes the guesswork out of buying NBA playoff tickets. So if you want to go see the Hawks or you want to go see the Braves, save last minute with Game Time. You can get up to 60% off buying last minute for sports, concerts, comedy, theater, and more. Plus, they offer the lowest Game Time guarantee, the lowest price guarantee, which means Game Time will credit you 110% of the difference if you can find tickets for less in the same section and row for elsewhere. Download the Game Time app today, create an account, and use code CHATSPORTS for $20 off your first purchase. Take the guesswork out of buying tickets with Game Time. Terms apply. Again, create an account and redeem code CHATSPORTS for $20 off. Download the Game Time app today. Last minute tickets, lowest price guaranteed. Now, let's talk more about Ramsey and how much it could cost in a trade. Because from a financial standpoint, it would be expensive for Miami. I don't think it could really get done all that well or easily before June 1st. They would be taking on a huge dead cap hit. After June 1, it's way more manageable. So let's say that it's a post-June 1 trade. I could see the Dolphins giving up Ramsey for a 5th-round draft pick. Think about what they gave up to get him in the first place. They acquired him a few years ago, 2022, for a 3rd and a player. Fast forward, and he's older, he's expensive, and he's already had an injury, knock him out for a good portion of the 2023 season. And I think a 5th-rounder might be all they get for him at this stage. So, looking at the numbers he put up last year, I still think he's a quality starting player. Is he going to play at that all-pro level? No, I don't believe he is. But a 5th-rounder for someone who could be a borderline Pro Bowl type player? Yeah, that's something I could be interested in, especially coming off a season when he played all 17 games. You look over the last 4 years, and the availability has been there. He was injured to open up the 2023 season, but since then he has played 27 straight games for Miami, putting up 5 combined interceptions over the last 2 years. So I think a 5th-rounder for the Dolphins could get the deal done, and for Atlanta, they don't have a lot of draft capital to part ways with this draft, so it could make a lot of sense for both parties to wait till after the draft is over, after June 1, from a financial standpoint for Miami and from a draft capital standpoint for Atlanta. So now I want you to be the host here and let me know if you would trade for Jalen Ramsey. Is this something the Falcons really need to get done, or is this a little bit of a reach? I can understand both sides of the argument here. When I first saw that Jalen Ramsey was, looking for a trade and the Dolphins were also looking for a trade partner, I was like, Atlanta, Mike Hughes, AJ Terrell, doesn't really make sense. And then Asante Samuel tossed out the idea of him playing safety, and I was like, well, if he plays safety, Bates, Ramsey, and Terrell, that's going to be a trio right there that's going to make life very difficult for opposing receivers to get any kind of daylight, and that's going to be a huge asset to Leonard Floyd as he gets older for him to still find the quarterback in, a reasonable amount of time. Before we sign off, I do want to give a quick shout out to a viewer from the comment section of our last video. So go watch that video, which was all about ESPN's 3-round mock draft, see who they had for Atlanta. But let's spin the wheel, Mr. Moose, and see who is going to be our viewer of the day. Big special shout out going to, it's got to be Archangel. The guy is a Hall of Fame viewer at Falcons today. So shout out to you, Archangel. 2 claps for you. Everyone right now. 1, 2. We can do better in the studio. One more try. 1, 2. Okay, we're getting there. Enjoy the rest of your Tuesday, and I'll see everyone back tomorrow for more on the Dirty Birds.